We are about to start the day of questioning of two witnesses today at the undercover policing inquiry. This morning, we will be hearing from Atif Choudhry, who was one of the founders of the International Solidarity Movement, the Palestine's human rights observing organisation that organised for people to go out to Palestine and witness the ethnic cleansing and brutalisation of the Palestinian people. And then this afternoon, we'll be hearing from Chris Nineham, who is one of the leading members of Stop the War, a member of the Socialist Workers' Party and Globalised Resistance. Back in the day when it was spied on by the undercover police officer HN 118, Simon Wellings, who we heard from earlier this week. Atif this morning will be talking about the infiltration of HN 18, Robert Hastings, cover name Rob Harrison, who infiltrated the International Solidarity Movement, No Borders, State of Emergency, Rampart Social Centre. I'm joined by Evelyn Lubbers of the Undercover Research Group. What are we hoping to hear from? Start with Atif first, I guess, this morning. What are we hoping to hear from him?
Well, he's going to be, I suppose he's going to be asked about his political activities. And I don't know about the reporting on him because the reports have still not been released by the inquiry. It's totally insane. So, in fact, we don't even know what all this is about. But also, he was the neighbor of Maya, who was testifying yesterday, and when visiting Atif, she was his next door neighbor. So apparently, he just saw her in the window and then groomed her into this very, very obsessive relationship. So I suppose they're also going to ask what he knew about that, because she said that he was like a big brother for her, one of the few people she trusted and she confided in about, well, not everything that happened to her, but a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that will be very significant. And if you didn't follow yesterday's proceedings at the inquiry with the questioning of Maya, I'd really recommend you do so. It was absolutely harrowing, very disturbing. Really shows the sadistic depravity of the undercover officer, Robert Hastings. Atif's was a target of Robert Hastings, but also this neighbour who was witness to many things. I mean, we saw in the emails from Robert Hastings to Maya yesterday that he blamed the so-called friends who cut off their relationship, talking about Atif and his partner.
I think they did a very good job trying to sort of get her away from her oppressor, basically. It was brutal. She was vulnerable, and he was always trying to blame her. He accused her of being of infidelity, and he was obsessed with that. While she was he was her second boyfriend ever. She was from a Christian background. She was like nowhere, she wasn't fooling around or whatever. She was only waiting for him to turn up because she would never know. And he was really only coming to her house for sex. They never went out or anything. So it wasn't even a real relationship.
It's horrific listening, but please check it out if you're able to. Then this afternoon we've got Chris Nineham. He's out of order. That's not a comment about Chris in general, but but he was meant to be giving evidence last Tuesday. Normally the witnesses, civilian witnesses, give evidence before the undercover officer who spied on them. So it's kind of unusual that he's giving evidence after Simon Wellings. It does give him the opportunity to respond to some of the things that Simon Wellings said, which might be interesting. I know that Chris has been involved in a very high-profile court case over the last number of weeks to do with the criminalization of Palestine protests. He hopefully has been following the evidence of HM 118 and is able to make some responses to what he said. So just to give you the sort of setting, Chris Nineham was a founding member of Globalised Resistance. He was on the steering committee. He was also a very key member of the Socialist Workers' Party at that time. And not anymore, I don't think. I think he's no longer an SWP member, but he's his involvement in Globalised Resistance was the way in which he was targeted by HM 118 Simon Wellings. I think he probably has a fair bit to say about those early years of Wellings' deployment before he got exposed, possibly about the exposure itself. I'm sure he'll be asked about MT and his knowledge of MT and what he knew about the fake bomb vest plot. Anything you'd like to add about it?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it, that the fact that he is still in a high-profile court case today, that is because we're coming towards the end of the SDS in 2008. It's like it's nearer to today. Like even for people our age, we know we were at the same protest. We were there, and it's like it's feeling more near to. And the fact that he couldn't come and testify last week because he was exhausted from the court case, it sort of mingles in today's protest and the very importance of that court case with the spying. And so I suppose he's going to make some reference to that as well.
Yeah, and I think those connections really need to be made because, the current repression that we're existing in the UK against protests, which is, unprecedentedly bad. I mean, but it's the culmination of decades of repression, of a playbook, really. I mean, if you want to read more on what I'm talking about, really, there's the book Charged by Matt Foote, who's a lawyer representing. I think he doesn't represent Chris. That's Paul Heron, but he did represent Guy Taylor and Noel Douglas. But this playbook that senior police officers came up with in the 80s of what they wanted in terms of the repression of dissent, and I mean the spy cops are just one small part of that, a very significant part, but just one part. And we're really seeing like a much more blunt approach that's happening now. We've got people going down for like 4 years for taking part in Zoom meetings, people going down for 2 years for like going equipped, people getting 2 years for throwing some soup over a frame which was wiped off in 10 seconds. The current situation when it comes to the criminalization of protest is very much linked to what the undercover cops did.
And also even the undercover cops were not the only thing back in the day. What I've been pointing at more often, there was also sort of the private security of the large corporations that were targeted, but also we will see that again on Monday with the
forward intelligence.
The forward intelligence teams that were on the street in your face with their cameras and knew your names and whatever. It's like there must have been a connection between the names that they had of people in the street. They would come up to you and say your name. Where did they get that from? It must have come from the SDS. There must have been more. I think we have to call the FIT teams because that they were probably clients of the SDS or of special branch for the information they gathered, and they were part of that strategy to undermine protest on the street.
Absolutely, and they were also witnesses to the infiltrations that took place. They knew the undercover cops, they knew them by name as activists and harassed them on the street as activists, as they did to us. So they must have been very fully aware of the relationships that those men were in. We've had a comment from Patrick from Veggies. This morning we're due to hear from one of the activists who Rob Hastings targeted, Atif Choudhry, lived in the same housing co-op as Maya. He had been involved in the International Solidarity Movement where he met Rob Harrison. Later on today, after lunch, we'll hear evidence from another activist, Chris Nineham from Stop the War Coalition, whose separate landmark court case against the Met Police just finished. Although we have to wait till the 1st of April for the it's a summary. We do have to wait till the 1st of April for the outcome of that that court case. And I get the impression that comment might have gone on for a lot longer. Only the first bit comes up when we're using StreamYard.
Okay.
The hearing will start at 10 o'clock for us. The broadcast will start at 10 past, so we should go in. Oh, just another comment there from Dave Smith. And the more overt repression of the Special Patrol Group wading into protests and picket lines.
Sure.
Absolutely, yeah. The brutality of the state.
And the blacklisting.
Far away. The blacklist and so many things. The hearing's about to start. We should head in.